I think we just. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Woo Woo 111.1 podcast. I am your host, Tabitha, and my co-host.
Hi, I'm Laurah-Lee.
And today we are going to be talking about chakras, but it's going to be more of a series. So today we're going to focus on the root chakra, and the lovely Laurah-Lee is going to take care of that for us.
All right. So yeah, we wanted to share, we've talked about the chakras through various episodes and realized not everybody maybe knows what they are. So because there are, 7 main chakras, we don't want to do it all in one episode. So we're going to break it up into other episodes, into a series. And today we're going to start a little bit about just what the chakras are, and then we'll cover the root chakra, which is the first chakra in the system. So for the chakras themselves, so there's 7 main chakras. There's also other ones as well, but most people are just familiar with the 7. And they start from the base of your spine, going all the way up to the crown of your head. And these are what are known as invisible wheels of energy that keep us vibrant and healthy. And the Sanskrit word chakra, Sanskrit is from India, their language, and the word chakra literally translates to a wheel or a disc. So you can imagine the chakras in our system as these little discs that are flowing with energy. From the base of our spine and then all the way up to the crown of our heads. So with, for example, when we're practicing yoga, what we're helping to do is get our energy flowing properly in our body by moving in certain positions and poses and postures, holding them or flowing through them. And so this is what helps to get our energy into proper alignment, which is all connected to our chakra system. So to visualize a chakra, you can imagine that swirling wheel of energy, and they say that this is where matter and consciousness meet. This invisible energy is also known in Sanskrit as prana, which is our life force energy in our body. And the importance of the chakras is that they correspond to massive nerve centers in the body. Each of the 7 main chakras contains bundles of energy centers. And sorry, I just lost my notes. Hang on. It's going too far away. There we go.
I love to.
Yeah, I know, it's great. I don't have a mouse, so I'm using my keyboard. I don't even know what you call it, the little square thing on the keyboard. It's a mouse, but it's not a real mouse. Okay. So bundles of nerves and major organs, as well as our psychological, emotional, and spiritual state of being. And since everything is moving, our energy is moving and flowing through the body, it's essential that these chakra systems remain open, so they're aligned and more fluid. So if there's a blockage, which a blockage is sometimes can be related to, say, like a physical injury.
Yes.
So I have previously had, I think I mentioned probably another episode that I was in 2 car accidents 21 years ago, back to back within 3 months of each other. So I have a lot of neck and shoulder issues, which also the neck is where our throat chakra is. And so when there's injury there, it can block the flow of energy. And then the other way we can block energy is through our emotions. So if we're having a lot of negative emotions that we're dealing with, then that can also cause a block of energy. So there's a whole bunch of different ways that you can get this energy flowing. So yoga being one of them. Meditation is also another one that can help. And that's why actually just to point out, when you see people meditating and they're meditating sitting cross-legged on the floor with, completely erect spine, that's because that's where the chakras are located on the spine. And we want to make sure that we're not slouching over and doing things to block, again, the chakras that way. So we want to keep the body aligned. And then Reiki would be another way that we can help to open up the chakras that way. Do you want to say anything about Reiki with the chakras? I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah. You know what? I'm so sorry. I'm gonna skip this one. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. No worries at all.
Your question.
Yeah. So those are all different ways, different modalities that you can use to open up these energy centers in our body. What were we going to say?
I was going to also say that I know we did talk about crystals, but crystals can also help with helping us become aligned and opening up our chakras as well. I know you mentioned like the throat chakra too. So sometimes like you'll feel like you'll have a blocked throat chakra. Like if you're finding it really hard, like not being able to speak your truth for whatever reason, blocking you. You might find that it's hard to like swallow or feel like physical.
Yes. A physical blockage in your throat. Yeah, exactly. And so a lot of us have been in those moments where maybe you're really stressed out or anxious about something and you want to say something and you feel like you physically can't even open your mouth to speak because you feel this like block in your throat or this lump in your throat. And these are all signs that there's a blockage in that energy flow, and that's why we do all these different practices to open them up. So talking about the crystals, I would often, when I would have my meditation baths, I'd have crystals that are specifically the chakras. So they're the colors of each chakra has a different color, which we'll get into. And so I'll put the chakra crystals on the body, on those areas, and to help open up the chakras as well that way.
That's what I was going to say, because when I do Reiki, sometimes I'll put crystals either on each chakra point, or I'll have my client like hold two in their hand and just have them at least, and I do have multiple crystals around the space as well, but they still have that other, they're still getting the healing properties from the two that they're holding directly. Right. And I like to, because there's like, there's a variety of crystals that you can use for each chakra, and some of them, more than one chakra point as well. So
that's why we love this stuff, because it all ties into each other. It all helps. All the modalities help each other in different ways. So that's why we love this stuff, because it's so amazing, right? Okay, so let's go back to my notes here. I'm trying to use the mouse with my left hand, and that's why it's not working, because I'm right-handed. Okay, so this is what I had heard one time, which was, if you want to think of something as simple as a bathtub drain, if you allow too much hair to collect in that drain, that water is not going to flow through properly, right? So you can imagine our chakras like that. If something's blocking that energy from flowing, then our system, our body, is not going to be working in its proper way.
Yes, 100%.
So this is how kind of our bodies work in the chakra system. So keeping the chakra open is a bit more of a challenge. But when you are working on these different practices to connect mind, body, and soul, like your spiritual side, then that helps to keep that energy flowing, so that we are running on a more optimal space. Yeah. So when we get into the root chakra, so the root chakra is at the base of our spines. Kind of, if you're familiar with where your tailbone is, that's where it would be. And it encompasses the first three vertebrae, including the bladder and the colon. And when it's open, we feel safe and fearless and like totally in control and secure. And that particular chakra, it represents the earth element. So, and that includes safety and feeling grounded. So if you think of, for most of us, our home is somewhere where we feel that safe and secure. That's in our bodies. It's in our root chakra system that helps us feel those good feelings. So I gotta stop doing it with my left hand. It just goes by way too far. Okay, so where do we leave off here? Yeah, so the root chakra is the foundation on which we build our lives. It supports us in our growing and feeling safe and exploring all aspects of our lives. It's related to feeling safety, secure, whether that's physical or metaphorical regarding our housing and financial safety. And the first chakra is around the idea of survival as well as safety. It's where we ground ourselves into the earth and anchor our energy into the world of manifestation. So the color of the root chakra is red, and this symbolizes strength, vitality, and stimulates our instinctual tendencies. It symbolizes security, safety, survival, such as our basic needs, so food, water, sleep, shelter, physical identity, and aspects of self-grounding, support and foundation for living our lives. And the root chakra represents 4 different elements of the human psyche, which is the mind, intellect, consciousness, and our ego. So yeah, it's very, very interesting, because if we're not feeling grounded, then our ego, which is basically a part of our mind, which is where all our fears and our self-doubts and all that sort of stuff lives. So when you're dealing with something in your life and you have all those negative thoughts swirling around in your head, like, oh, like, should I be doing this? Or like, or what are people going to think? That's coming from your ego mind. And our egos are basically designed in quote unquote to make us feel safe. But by trying to make us feel safe, what it's really doing is stopping us from doing the things that we really want to do, because it's keeping us in that fear-based, oh, I don't know if I can do this.
It's kind of fight or flight, you know?
Right. Yes. Yeah, exactly. So it's trying to keep us safe, and like, okay, well, if you try this and it doesn't work out, then you fail, then you're going to feel bad about it. But in life, we have to try things. We have to do new things. We have to go for what we want in our life if we're going to achieve those. Anyway, if we don't try, we never have an option to actually achieve those things. So it's our fear that usually dictates our life and stops us from doing the things that we actually want to do. So we have to kind of have that struggle between our ego mind and our heart. What's in our true heart's desire? What do we actually want in our life? And keep focusing on the heart rather than those negative thoughts that are going around in our head, which happens to us all the time.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. It's a constant daily practice to think, positively rather than thinking about all those negative things that are swirling around in our heads. And we know it. We all experience it on a daily basis. And yeah, that's for sure for myself and everybody I know. So yeah, I know I can speak to everybody with this, because I
right, like very successful people, like, they deal with it too. It's a constant, it's not something that ever really goes away, like, in my opinion. It's a matter of how to cope with it and get through.
Yeah and how it works. So like she said, it's something that we're always going to deal with, but you have to be aware of it, because this is how our brains are designed to work. So you have to be aware of that every time you're having those negative thoughts, that's natural, that's going to happen, but you need to take a step back from it and realize, okay, well, I don't want those things to happen. This is what I want to happen. So let's focus on what I actually want to happen. And that's when you're living from your heart center rather than your ego mind.
Yeah, because it's always going to come up to play. Like when you think about it, if you're having those thoughts or those thoughts are coming in, it's most likely because you're putting yourself in a vulnerable state or kind of stepping out of your comfort zone. But in the end, that's only just to progress your desires in your life, to the next level. And you have to do that to be able to get there. If you just where you are, you're not going to achieve that.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's the ego's job, is to kind of keep you safe and secure, but you can get through that, and it's necessary to kind of
so the first step is being aware that that's your ego's job. But if you want to live your life as you want to live your life, then you gotta have those conversations, like, wait, are these thoughts coming from my ego mind, which is trying to keep me from doing new things, or is it coming from my heart center? And how you'll know is if the thoughts are making you feel bad, that's your ego mind trying to scare you into doing the things. And if you're living from your heart center and you're feeling good about things, like, okay, yeah, this is what I want to happen, this is what I'm focusing on, then you're living your true self by listening into that heart. So yeah, it all ties in together. So then if we have an overactive root chakra, this is when we have an excess of energy. Our first chakra is the energy center to the raw and static energy of life. Ensuring this area is flowing optimally will boost your overall health. As this chakra is of grounding and it controls our inner sense of security and place in our world. An overactive root chakra can trigger extreme feelings of insecurities, and this can cause you to cling to outside influences to compensate or fill that void. With an overactive root chakra, it can affect you physically, emotionally, and your spiritual well-being. And when it is balanced, you will feel grounded and at ease. And when there is an imbalance, it's easier to become annoyed and frustrated with the people and situations in your life. So when you're in those situations, then wait a minute, I'm not grounded right now. And that's why these practices that we like to talk about helps you to get in that more grounded state and more calm and relaxed state, so that you can deal with the stresses of life. Because of course, we all have stresses in our life as well. And so it's not like we can ever avoid that. So we need to know the tools to get ourselves into that better grounded space.
Yeah.
Were you going to say something on that point? Like you had a thought to say.
No, I was just, I think you already actually recovered it.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay, so physical symptoms of an overactive root chakra include bladder issues, constipation, fatigue, and anemia. And other signs would be anger, impatience, feeling stuck, greediness, and belligerence. Cleansing and balancing an overactive root chakra can help alleviate issues and restore the energy balance. And this can be done by eating healthy, exercising, doing yoga, going for walks or hikes, and meditating, because these are all going to bring you back to that more grounded space. And so just to cover the difference between a blocked and an overactive root chakra, when it's blocked, this will lead to behaviors ruled mostly by fear. So what I was just talking about with the ego mind. And if the chakra is overactive, this fear may become paranoia, which is an extreme manifestation of a root chakra imbalance. And this can relate to control over food intake and diet. So all things to consider if you're having any issues with any of those, like, food control, stuff like that, that can be a sign of an overactive or a blocked root chakra.
Interesting.
Yeah, right. I know. I love this stuff. So for an imbalanced root chakra at an emotional level, if the first chakra is imbalanced, this could show up as excessive negativity and feelings of insecurity, eating disorders, constantly living in that survival mode, and then greed, such as food, money, power, status, or a distortion of your senses. And it may be hard to feel safe and secure in the world, so the desire for security dominates and can cause concerns surrounding your professional situation, physical safety, shelter, and health. So how to open your root chakra? You can open the chakra by engaging in more grounding and earth-related activities. So connecting to nature is huge. And when the weather is nicer, walking barefoot outside in the grass, that's such an amazing way to ground yourself. Were you going to say something?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was going to say literally hugging a tree.
That's what I was going to say next. And then I'm like, I think that's what you're going to say. So you do that motion. Yeah. She was hugging an imaginary tree on, for those not watching this on YouTube. But yeah, that's another amazing way. Yeah. Or even just going to sit under a tree or like leaning up against a tree, something like that. Yeah, that's so good. And if you've never done that before, I highly encourage it, because you just feel so.
I did this in summer, like when I had the kids with me at work, and when I was feeling like overwhelmed and frustrated, I was like, I know I'm at my work parking lot and there's a bunch of cars driving by, but I'm gonna just hug this tree anyways.
Right. It helps. It helps. Yeah. And during this time when we're for a long time we couldn't hug people and all that sort of stuff, like, well, hug a tree. Okay, so yeah, walking barefoot in the grass, hugging a tree, or being near a tree, just going for a walk in a forest too is going to help ground you. That's why I do a lot of hiking, and so that's what I love to do, get out in the forest. And the gardening is another great way. It's a meditation in itself, gardening. I have tried gardening in the past. I'm not a good gardener at all. This coming summer, I'm going to attempt to be a gardener again. I'm hoping I'll have better luck. But yeah, just being in the dirt and, being with nature and being with all the plants, like that's all going to help you ground too.
Yeah, I was going to say, I never was really much of a gardener. I always like the thought of it, but yeah. I would sort of do it, but then not really bother with it. But this year, I just think with everything that I've been working through and with all the growth and all of that sort of stuff, like I actually really had a new appreciation for it and really enjoyed it and really felt happy and at peace doing it. It was completely
awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. And the next one, and this can tie into gardening. So if you're gardening and growing your own vegetables, then you can eat healthier too, because you're actually growing veggies and fruits too, whatever it is. So yeah, cooking and eating healthier foods. Dancing is another way to really ground yourself. So if you love dancing, putting on your favorite music and just dancing around. And then of course, yoga and meditation are all the different ways that you can open up the root chakra.
Yeah.
And yeah, so just finding whatever you love to do out of those things and just, incorporating that more and more into your life as you can to help keep that root chakra open.
Yeah. And I always say it's not something that has to take up a lot of your time. If a lot of people certain practices, morning practices or rituals or whatever, bedtime or rituals have to be some sort of long process. But I mean, even just dancing around, you could do 5 minutes of it, 2 songs, and even that is a huge game changer.
Yeah, and an energy boost too. It's gonna get your energy flowing, so that you feel good physically. You feel like, oh wow, I feel awake and good, and you're getting those positive endorphins going too when you're doing any movement. So whether walking, hiking, dancing, yoga, it's gonna help all of that. Anything else that you wanted to add before we go into the affirmation part?
No, I think you pretty much covered it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do to end, and we've talked about tapping before many times. So we're going to do a little tapping sequence for positive affirmations, specifically for the root chakra. How we'll do it. So when we're doing this, we'll quickly go over the points that we're going to be tapping on. For those that aren't watching the YouTube video, you can just follow along with where we're describing is your points. And then how it works is I'll say the phrase, and then Tabitha will repeat the phrase, and that's when you can repeat the phrase yourselves. We're going to go through the different points, and we'll do this a couple times, and we're going to do this in two different ways. So right now, these ones that I have written down are I am statements. So we've talked about this before, how sometimes if you're, maybe, in a bad mood and you want to be positive, and saying a positive statement just doesn't resonate with you at all. So saying like, I am happy, and you're like, I'm miserable right now. I'm not resonating with that. So sometimes it helps to switch it, and rather than saying I am, you switch it to you are. And when you say you are happy, it's kind of tricking your brain, because it's making your brain think that somebody else is telling that to you, because you're saying you are, right? So it's not I am, you are. And then it just kind of tricks your brain into thinking like, oh, well, she's telling me that I'm happy, so maybe I am happy. And then you hopefully start to become happy. Yeah, it really works well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the first round. We'll do them as I am statements, and then we're going to repeat the same statements again for the next round, but we'll say you are statements. And then you can kind of judge for yourself which one resonates with you better. And then you can choose to do that one for when you do it again. So if we're ready to go, we'll just quickly go over the tapping locations. Do you want to go cover those ones?
Sure.
Okay.
So you're going to start the karate chop? Just want to make sure.
I didn't have it, but we will. So yeah, I'll just make something up for that.
The first point is the karate chop one. It's just at the side of your hand. So you're just going to tap there as we repeat the affirmation or statement. And then you move to the eyebrow point, which is like right where your eyebrow sort of begins. Tap there. And then at the side of the eye. And
so for the side of the eye, you'll feel it's kind of like the top of the cheekbone.
Yeah.
And kind of what you're tapping on right there. So yeah.
Yes, thank you for clarifying. And then under the eye, just under your eye, I guess we're the same thing, like where the socket kind of is, the bone.
Yeah.
Little above there. I wear glasses, so sometimes I got to move them.
Yeah, and I wear glasses as well. So if you're wearing glasses, you can take your glasses off just to make it more comfortable. We will keep ours on so we can see what we're doing. But you don't need to see. You can just follow along with our voices.
And it's under the nose, which is just like that little divot you have. Tap there. And then under the chin, which again is like right where you're
and I'll just correct you for a second. Not under the chin, it's the chin, but under your mouth. So you'll feel that little crib. I know I often say under the chin, and I'm like, wait, no, that's not right. So it's under your bottom lip, basically, in that little divot on your chin.
I don't really say under, I usually just say chin.
Yeah.
What under? I think that's what they're, yes.
Because everywhere else is under. Right. Yeah.
Chin, your actual chin.
Yeah.
Sorry. And then your collarbone. And then under the arm, which is like right where your bra line would be.
Yeah, or side of your rib cage.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then top of the head.
Yeah, so those are all the points, and you don't need to remember the points because I'm going to say what point we're tapping on as we go through the sequence. And then the other thing that I like to share with people is I'm right-handed. So generally when I'm tapping, I just tap using my right hand. And then, I don't know, it's just kind of naturally happened that I just started when I would do the next round, I would switch and start using my left hand. And so that's how I do it. I will alternate between right and left hand, but you can also tap on both sides with both hands if that feels good. So, and it doesn't matter. You can tap on just one side. You can just continuously tap on your right side if you're right-handed, or tap on your left side if you're left-handed. There's no right or wrong way to tap. So whatever naturally kind of happens, like that's what happened naturally for me, is I started switching sides. And when I thought about it, I thought that was interesting, because this is also all about energy flow and moving the energy. And we have everything in our bodies is connect one side and the other side. So I think naturally, intuitively, I started using both sides because it felt better for me that I was activating both sides of my body, I guess this is how I would describe it. So, but like I said, no right or wrong way, just do what comes naturally, or try them out. Like I'll tell you when I'm switching sides, and then if you want to switch sides and see if that feels good for you, you can do that. And then for just kind of tapping speed and I don't know what the word is. You don't want to be tapping so hard that you're injuring yourself. So I typically tap harder than most people probably do, because that just feels good for me. But if it doesn't feel good, then you're just gently tapping. And if you have long nails, like I typically do, don't tap with your nail, tap with the finger pad itself. So that'll be more, especially if you have a broken nail and you don't want to scratch your face. I've done that before. So yeah, just be careful and use the finger pad. And when we're tapping on the face, generally I would recommend tapping with 1 or 2 finger points. And then when you're on like your torso, and your head, the top of your head, you can do 4 fingers, because you have a bigger space that you can just use more space with more fingers. Yeah, I think that about covers it. Anything else that you think we should add? Okay.
No.
All right. So we're going to start off. So sitting comfortably, however you are. I'm in a recliner right now. So I'm just sitting cross-legged, because that's how I do. But you can have your feet on the floor and just kind of sit back on a chair if that's how you're sitting. And we're going to take 3 deep breaths to start. So I want you to close your eyes and then inhale through your nose. Exhale, sigh it out. Deep breath in. Exhale, sigh. And one more time. And then gently tapping on the karate chop point, so side of your hand, repeating after me. And this will be a bit of a longer statement, so I'm going to break it up so that I'm not, so that you can remember everything that I'm saying. So even though I am feeling a little off right now,
I am feeling a little off right now.
I accept myself and how I feel.
I accept myself and how I feel.
And we're still going to be tapping on the karate chop point. If you want to switch hands and do the other hand, you can do that. And repeating after me, even though feeling a little down,
I'm feeling a little down,
I accept myself and how I feel.
I accept myself and how I feel.
And then one last time, if you want to switch hands again, you can, even though I'm not feeling myself right now.
I am not feeling myself right now.
I accept myself and how I feel.
I accept myself and how I feel.
And now moving to the eyebrow point, just where the eyebrow begins beside of your nose there. I am abundant.
I am abundant.
And then side of the eye. I belong.
I belong.
Under the eye. I am connected.
I am connected.
Under the nose. I am grounded.
I am grounded.
Chin. I am open to possibilities.
I am open to possibilities.
Collarbone. I am renewed.
I am renewed.
Under the arm side of the rib cage. I am safe.
I am safe.
top of the head, I am secure.
I am secure.
And then back to the eyebrow point. If you want to switch sides, you can. If you want to try both sides at the same time, you can do that. I am stability.
I am stability.
Side of the eye, I have strong values.
I have strong values.
Under the eye, I have a strong foundation.
I have a strong foundation.
Under the nose, I am worthy.
I am worthy.
Chin, you are abundant.
You are abundant.
Collarbone, you belong.
You belong.
Under the arm, you are connected.
You are connected.
Top of the head, you are grounded.
You are grounded.
And then back to the eyebrow point. If you want to switch hands, you can. You are open to possibilities.
You are open to possibilities.
Side of the eye, you are renewed.
You are renewed.
Under the eye, you are safe.
You are safe.
Under the nose, you have security.
You have security.
Chin, you have strong values.
You have strong values.
Collarbone, you have a strong foundation.
You have a strong foundation.
Under the arm, you are worthy.
You are worthy.
Top of the head, you are grounded.
You are grounded.
And then you can release your hand to your lap. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale, sigh it out. And then just with your eyes closed, tuning into your body. Noticing any thoughts or feelings that came up while you were doing that. Or any sensations that you might be feeling. If you're ready, you can open your eyes. And how are you feeling, Tabitha?
I'm feeling a little tingly, and I have to say, I don't know why, but while you were talking about like the whole root chakra stuff, I was just really feeling a lot of like, I don't know what it is, anxiety. I just started feeling like a lot of anxiety. I think it's just with everything that I've been working through or going with, I'm trying to say dealing with. There we go.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah. So definitely helped doing the tapping sequence. I better now, so I love it. And that's the amazing thing. Like, you know, we did a few rounds, but you know, the benefits are, it's a short thing, you know, like, and it didn't, I feel so much better after doing it. So.
And that was basically 2 rounds, I think, that we did. So imagine, and you can just repeat that same thing over and over again, and you can do as many rounds as you have time for or that you want to do. And that's what's so amazing with it, because in a short period of time you could feel amazing, and if it's not, you're not feeling quite amazing, then just keep doing it until you start to feel better and better.
Exactly.
That's so great about all these modalities, but tapping, deep breathing, all that sort of stuff, it just helps you feel better so quick. It can really work within seconds sometimes, depending.
Or like, I really love the sighing it out. Like, it makes such a difference. I used to always, but I just always felt like the urge to really just, you know, sigh. Like I feel more releasing, but that's just from my own personal.
And it's funny that you say that, because I started doing that myself in my own yoga practice. I would sigh out on the exhales, and then I was loving it so much I would feel like I could deepen into the poses more as I did that. So I actually, in the last probably 6 months, started telling my clients to do that as well. And one of my clients, he works in a daycare with babies, and so a lot of stress. got I don't know how many babies with him when he's at work. And he told me that he was resisting when I was saying sigh it out. He told me this after class one day. And he said, but then one day, something about it, I was just having a really bad day at work. And so I'm like, you know what, I'm going to do what Laurah-Lee says, because she said she enjoys it more. I'm going to try this, sighing it out. So he did, and he just immediately felt better. And then the next day or the next week or something, he was at work with the babies. And these are babies, like they're under 2 years old, like under 1 year old, I think all 1 year old. And he has been over the years, he's been a client of mine for years now. He started showing the babies different yoga moves and getting them to do yoga, and they absolutely love it. He absolutely loves it. And so one day, they had like 5 babies that were all crying at the same time. And he usually works with, another person. So there's 2 of them, but he's like, I'm going to try this deep breathing, and I'm going to do what Laurah-Lee does, sigh it out on the exhale. And so, he's just demonstrating it to babies, and they catch on quick. And so you get them to breathe in through their nose and sigh it out. And he's like, in minutes, they were all happy as can be. They had all stopped crying. And so now he's a firm believer, like, sigh it out, sigh it out now, because
Huge difference. I do that with my son too, when sometimes he struggles a bit with like self-regulation. And older. But yeah, I do that with him. Like, well, I do find for him in particular, like a pressured hug, like, so usually like a tight hug. And then, I won't even tell him like breathe in and like exhale. I'll usually just start doing it. And like soon, like I can feel him like matching my pace, and then, feeling he's definitely helps.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, that just blew me away, that because I don't have kids myself. So the fact that he was teaching babies how to breathe deeply, like, oh, that's so amazing. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that will conclude our chakra series 1, I guess we'll say, for talking about the root chakra. And so we kind of played around with the idea that maybe every other week we'll do the next chakra in the series, and we'll come up with another topic for next week's series, or next week's episode, I mean.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I hope you guys enjoyed it and learned lots. Enjoyed the tapping sequence. And it's one thing I love about tapping is that you don't have to watch a video either, because you
just listen.
and then it's amazing.
Oh, I think you cut out there again. Can you repeat that last part?
Oh, I honestly, I just think I said it was amazing. That's all.
Nice. Well, it is. Yeah, tapping is definitely amazing.
It is.
Yes, well, thanks for listening, and feel free to reach out via DM on our Instagram at woo111.1 if you have any comments, suggestions for other episode ideas, or just want to tell us how you're feeling after trying out the tapping sequence with us. We'd love to hear from you.
And don't forget, check out our YouTube channel, which is woo111.1, because we have a vodcast to our podcast. So see us in person or on video. On video. That you can do that. Well, comment or anything.
Yes. Yeah. Excellent. All right. Well, everybody have a great rest of your day. And
Happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, yes. Yeah. If you're in the US, happy Thanksgiving. We had ours like a month ago. So, yes. All right. And may the woo
be
with you.
Oh my gosh.